All right, so here's my next example. This one is from sixth grade, so it bleeds a little bit into the EC6 um, certificates as well as 4 through 8. This one is science, and you can see here we've got describe. So there's our teak, which will determine, or action verb, which will determine the Bloom's level. So we've got describe as our verb there. And so I'm going to start crafting my learning objective. The students will describe. Now, again, we're probably as educators, let me back up. So we've got that. Now we're going to stop because here comes a whole lot more. We've got physical properties, we've got locations, and we've got movements. Again, you're probably not going to do this all in one lesson plan. You're probably not going to cover the physical properties and where they're positioned and how they move all within maybe a 45 or 50-minute excuse me, class period. So we are going to have to limit that down. So as a teacher, I'm going to say, let's talk about the location first. So the students will describe the location of, now we come to this next chunk here. Give that blue. We've got sun, planets, moons, meteors, asteroids, and comets. So we've got a lot there. So we can think about this in a couple of ways. We could say, well, we'd like to cover just the location of the sun here in the middle with each of the planets and how they're located from the sun. Maybe we don't want to cover moons yet other than our own. Maybe we want to talk about the asteroid belt and the comet, way out there past Pluto. So maybe we want to talk about our solar system in general and the pieces of location of each one of those areas. And so the way we're going to think about that is the students will describe the location of each planet in our solar system and let me say maybe including the location of the sun, asteroid belt, and I can't remember what that is. I even have an astronomy minor and I'm blanking on the comet place out there. The comet belt, I'm just going to call it. So there's one way we could take this teak. We can also go a different direction. Man, I have a terrible cough today. What are you doing here? Okay, let's try this again. So we could take it a different direction. The students we're going to keep the word describe. Now maybe what we want to say is describe the physical properties of the inner and outer planets. And that would include the rocky ones before the asteroid belt and the gaseous planets outside of the asteroid belt, except for Pluto, which we know is way out there and not a gaseous planet. So we could take it that direction. So what I'm hoping you can see is that with each teak, we can't just write it just like it is. We have to think about what types of things we want to focus on during our lesson. And you can see that these teaks can be taken in multiple directions. So for your lesson plan, I want you to break it down just like we did here. Start with your verb, then move into chunks of the teak that show different concepts so that you can provide more detail. And in some of these teaks, just like here, you can go in a variety of directions. Just pick a direction that you feel like you can work with for the next 15 weeks or so as we begin to change these teaks into learning objectives.